Welcome, everybody, to Youngstown Studio in downtown Youngstown, Ohio. I'm BJ Lisco, filling in for Joe Danyi this week on Behind the Scenes. And this week we have Jim from Eyes of Faith joining us. So, Jim, thanks so much for coming out.
Hey, man, thank you so much, BJ. I love this space, man. It's super cool here.
Joe's got a good thing going on down here, for sure.
He does. Yeah, I love it.
I was telling you, there's something different here every day. Between the podcasting and marketing and all the stuff we're doing down here, something different every day. But we're glad to have you here.
Hey, honored to be here.
And give me a little bit of a background on Eyes of Faith and kind of how it started.
Wow, Eyes of Faith is, believe it or not, started in 2008. The concept came about, and it really, honestly, we're a faith-based company. It was birthed out of prayer, and so I was praying one morning, asking God to use me in a really cool way and in a purposeful way, and this idea of an eyewear company came to mind. And that's what kind of all happened. And it happened very quickly after that. It's like, told my wife I had this, this vision to do this. She said I was crazy to go back to bed. Okay. But her prayer had been, hey, God, how are you going to use me? All I know how to do is fit people for glasses. So we kind of came together on this project. And short stories, we flew out to Las Vegas, literally. The thought came to me on a Sunday. We're in Las Vegas on Wednesday that week. Checking out, it's called Vision Expo. We went there. It was one of the second largest optical events in the country, and nothing represented faith. So Eyes of Faith was born.
Talk a little bit about that, about your background as far as faith goes, and why it was important for you to kind of bring that into the eye care world.
Well, we looked at it. I was in the insurance business, insurance consultant, doing really well. This was never on my radar, honestly. Faith-based eyewear company. It really wasn't, but it was like we're kind of little at that time. We were really new into the Christian faith, and just started just listening things and just asking God for a purpose. And this is what came about. This was not on our radar, and that was in 2008. We launched our brands that following year, September of 2009, and we didn't start having product in the stores until 2010. It took a long time to develop that brand. So yeah.
How challenging is it to launch a company like this, kind of from the ground floor up?
You know what? I always say I'm glad I didn't know what I didn't know, or I wouldn't have done what I did. Okay, the challenges were enormous. The barriers to entry are enormous. You're dealing with this billion-dollar companies that have army of salespeople, have army of designers, have everything. And here we are, this little company trying to get into this. It's a $78 billion market.
Wow.
It's like, wow. And that's just in the United States. So we're like, what are we doing? But we actually connected really quickly with the Vision Council of America. They helped starting directing our path a little bit. We started, we instantly started, developing the corporate identity, corporate logo, all the things that we wanted to do. And during that first 12 months was just design, getting things set up, and just ready to go. But I would not advise doing this again unless you have a lot of resources and you're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, are there gatekeepers kind of in the eye care world, like as far as like business wise, with such a huge sort of industry? Is there are there like sort of gatekeepers or people you kind of have to get the okay from to really kind of get the things going?
Yeah, well, first of all, we're an FDA medical device, so we have to license with the FDA. So there was a lot of things that we had to do to get to where we needed to go in terms of even getting a product here, in the U.S. soil, so to speak. But I think, just generally, it's like every small business startup, man, if you don't have passion, and I always say, Eyes of Faith from day one has been, the tagline has been purpose, passion, style. The purpose was to give back in a meaningful way, and we can talk about that too, because there's a lot of cool stuff happening there. Passion was always simply reflect the love of God to everyone. regardless of who they are, their political affiliation, their sexuality, whatever it is, we're going to love them, period. And then the style piece, and I always say, if we don't have great styles, the purpose and passion of the company does not happen. Yeah, so one of the things we do with our styles, Amy is our designer, my wife. She's an optician by trade. She designs these glasses with that optician in mind. Fit, comfort, style, color. But the one thing that we do differently than every other brand, and there's thousands of brands out there, not millions, thousands of brands, we put a scripture on the inside of the temple that matches every frame. That's our biggest differentiator.
Talk a little bit, if you would, about the purpose aspect of that and some of the impacts that you've had. And you've had some global impacts here as far as with the company, but talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I think we've always been a company that's gives a lot of glasses, reading glasses and sunglasses away. I think we're well over 130,000 pairs donated throughout the world in that capacity. The one special thing that we're doing this year that I'm just so excited about is we brought a lot of really awesome companies together in the optical industry to bring a vision clinic to Ghana, West Africa, with radio host Delilah. Delilah, we're very close with her. We presented her a check for $120,000 in March of this year. And she was blown away. The first time ever, she was speechless.
Nice.
She talks for a living.
Right.
But it was a combination of a lot of people and a lot of companies got involved to raise that money. And now we're going to affect thousands upon thousands of people that do not have access to vision care in Ghana.
That's awesome. I mean, and how did you guys get hooked up with Delilah?
Good question. I mean, it was a mutual friend. And what happened was this was in 2019. We were summer 2019. Our friend calls us and, hey, Jim, Delilah is going to be hosting a Broadway event in New York. We think you guys should get together and meet. I'm like, hey, no problem. We'll be there. So, and that was on a short notice. But we went to New York. Honestly, BJ, we were expecting just to go fit her for some glasses. Maybe do some social media things. And so that 1 hour meeting turned into a 4 hour meeting. And at the end of that meeting, we showed her these 4 styles that we were coming out with that had these beautiful angel wings that my wife designed on the side. She starts tearing up and she says, there's an emotional connection to these. And she just loved it so much. And at the end, she prayed to God, I don't know how you're going to use me to grow and do things, but I'm here, willing. Next morning, I'm walking through Central Park, and I had this idea to collaborate with Delilah to build homes for orphans and widows in her Point Hope village in Ghana, and using proceeds from the sales to do that. So we reached out to our mutual friend, I think it seems like seconds later, we're reaching out to Delilah's manager, and I think in like 2 weeks we had a collaboration agreement made to do this. So that's how the relationship started, and it just kind of grew from there. Now I just consider her a very close friend now.
Nice. Now, does she collaborate on like some designs for her line or
not,
anything?
Not really. No? She lets Amy do that. So
I gotcha.
She has her favorites, right? She does have her favorites, but she lets Amy do that for sure.
This episode was brought to you by Youngstown Computer, the Valley's technology company. We appreciate the loyalty you all have shown to us over the years, and it's our promise to serve all of the technology needs of the Valley. Call 330-259-7278. We have both home and business services available, everything from repair, installations, and new equipment. You can improve your Wi-Fi and have your technology serve you better. Call 330-259-7278, or you can schedule your appointment right now on youngstowncomputer.com and look for the red Book Now button.
He's gotcha. Well, I was down, at your location earlier today, so let's we're gonna roll some of this footage here, and we'll just talk about what we're seeing here.
The Applegate building is such a beautiful building, completely refurbished.
Yeah, there's a lot happening down there in that area.
Yeah, JCL Development, Jim Landino's company, has changed the trajectory of Sharon for hopefully for a long time and into the future in what they're doing there. It's pretty amazing. Got a few different companies that are running out of our office right now.
So yeah, it's a beautiful space once I get up there.
Yeah, the thing is with this old building, there's no way to put an elevator in it. So that's why we did a back entrance thing. But that's the only downfall of this beautiful space. And right here, welcome to Purpose, Passion, Style. There's Amy right there, fitting one of the Sharon City Eyeworks patients. There's Delilah, and our friend Mike Thacker has a book called Mic Drop, which is a phenomenal book. Anybody stops by, I'll give you one.
And how many different, you have obviously a lot of different styles of frames there. How often are you developing new styles? And
That's a really good question. We try to release a few new styles every year. It's a long process. It's an 18 to 24 month process just to release a style. So what we've been doing lately, and actually it's become very successful, is coming out with new colors with our top selling styles, and just keeping that a fresh approach to that. We do have some apparel as well. But yeah, I have a little saying, ABL, always be launching. We're always launching something. Okay, whether it's a new color, a new style, a new T-shirt design, new sunglass design. There's always something going on. This is moving into so this space is segmented out with our new optometry practice, Sharon City Eyeworks. That's the Sharon City Eyeworks business office. We affectionately call this space Central Perk. This is where friends come and hang out, and either coffee or do some little wine and cheese events in the evenings. Nice reception area for people just to hang out. Everybody walks in there, they're kind of blown away. Like, what is this, right? And this is kind of cool, and it's something you don't expect to see in Sharon, Pennsylvania. So everyone loves the exposed brick.
Yeah, it's very cool. And you mentioned earlier how old is the building?
It was built, I believe, in 1928.
Okay.
So it's approaching 100 years. There's Ziva. We can talk about Ziva. That's a pretty super cool new sunglass line. There's Stacy. Like, don't look at me, right?
Everybody always trying to get out of the way of the camera.
Yeah.
That's most places, though.
That hallway is to the Sharon City Eyeworks exam rooms and pre-testing rooms. It's Stacy's office. Stacy's one of our, helps with Amy with design, and she's our lead optical manager as well. And that's Brooklyn. She's one of our summer interns. We have 3 summer interns this year. And that's our design studio. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we'll get in there in a second, I'm sure.
This is Amy's space. She has this beautiful office and likes to hang out here, and we're kind of Disney fanatics, so we have everything's a lot of Disney stuff going on. And you'll see right there, Edna Mode. She's always looking over Amy and making sure she's designing properly. There I am. So this is our design studio. This is where we house thousands of acetate colors. It's a mess right now. We're working on a new project. We're doing new colors for our Ziva sunglasses and some Eyes of Faith colors right now. So we have, again, there's just lots of different color options, and that's one of the most important things when you're designing a frame is designing a color that is wearable. It can be fun, but to make it wearable and fun in the same way.
Yeah, where do you guys get sort of the inspiration for sort of the styles, the colors? Just talk a little bit about that if you would. in terms of just all the different kinds of frames that you have.
Yeah, we actually subscribe to the world's leading trend forecaster for fashion. It's the same forecasting company that the big fashion houses uses. So we think it's important that we stay on top of what's happening on the runways. I mean, we're already seeing things for 2025, spring, summer 2025, because we're always moving 18 months in advance. We also look at, these fashion houses, it's always like kind of big and gaudy, right? But then you kind of just scale it down a little bit, make it wearable, but have the same kind of shape structure and color palette. And so it really works. And Amy being an optician by trade, she's designing these frames that just not only look good, but feel good on. Like, oh, wow. We hear that all the time. This just feels good on my face. Well, it's supposed to.
Right.
If we're a millimeter off, it might not feel good, right? Which she deals in millimeters. So it's fine tuning it. And then once we find something that works, we kind of stick with it.
How often do you see the trends change?
That's another good question. Here, they don't change rapidly. They do evolve over some time. We are seeing some 80s things coming back a little bit. We've seen that for a number of years. We're still figuring out why crystal is still super hot. It's been that way for a long time. We're like, when's this going to stop? But it hasn't. I mean, it's getting even more with more translucent colors, that type of thing. But people have different, like, hey, I like metals, or I like plastics. Some people like round, some people like square, rectangle. Those key shapes never change. They get a little bigger and they get a little smaller, but they don't change. And it's just trying to stay up on it. Sometimes you miss it. Yeah.
I gotcha. Here, let's take back to the office here.
Okay, that's a space that's used by interns right now. Here's my office. I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan. That's my newest piece that I got. That's art, the Millennium Falcon there.
You got the Boba Fett. I got to stop here for a second.
That's actually Mandalorian right there.
Oh, is that Mandalorian? Was it? The
General Grievous.
You're going deep here.
Yeah, that's that guy. The guy in the corner. Okay, that he started it all. I saw that at Galaxy's Edge in Disney World, and I'm like, I've got to have that. It's heavy. It's heavy, and I always joke, General Grievous is the head of our HR department. Take all grievances to him. Got a little Mandalorian, Grogu, and that's a mess. I got him working on a project there too. Always working on projects. So, yeah, we have a little fun there. And that's our conference room. We do quite a bit of Zoom calls, and we do have employees that work out of the office, one in Kentucky and Ohio. We have sales reps, so we can do some team meetings right there, bring everybody in. Obviously, faith-based organization, we're going to have scripture on the wall. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord. And that was one of the first things we added to the space. But apparently that table is never moving because it's poured concrete.
It's there forever.
It's there. There's a picture of us with Delilah in New York, presenting her that check. This is all the glass and everything is pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I mean, so talk a little bit too about well, obviously first, I mean, how can people get in touch with you guys? What's the best way for them to reach out?
Oh gosh, there's so many ways. We're EOFoptical.com. So EOF, Eyes of Faith, EOFoptical.com is our website. Sharon City Eyeworks is simply SCEyeworks.com. And then Ziva is ZIVAH.com, Ziva.com. So our number is for Sharon City Eyeworks is 844-424-EYES. It's 3937. So 844-424-EYES.
This episode was brought to you by Youngstown Computer, the Valley's technology company. We appreciate the loyalty you all have shown to us over the years, and it's our promise to serve all of the technology needs of the Valley. Call 330-259-7278. We have both home and business services available, everything from repair, installations, and new equipment. You can improve your Wi-Fi and have your technology serve you better. Call 330-259-7278, or you can schedule your appointment right now on youngstowncomputer.com and look for the red Book Now button.
Want to schedule an appointment? I'm telling you, we didn't get a chance to talk a lot about Sharon City Eyeworks.
Well, yeah, please, yeah, please, yeah, give us a little bit of background on them as well.
We're very excited about this. We did a soft launch of this in October last year, but it is the most advanced eye exam you'll ever have. Mm-hmm. It is, you start with this pre-testing. You know how you get that puff, mm-hmm. first and foremost? We have a no puff.
Oh, nice, yeah.
We have a virtual reality headset mm-hmm. that does vision testing, and it kind of walks you through this really cool vision test. Like you're playing a video game. Mm-hmm. We have a super high-end retinal imagery, along with a camera that looks at your cornea and does all these cool things. I'm not an optometrist, right? Mm-hmm. But I bought all the equipment, so I've learned a lot about it. But after about a 20-minute pre-test. Mm-hmm. All that data is uploaded into a server, and then you walk into what is a normal exam room, right? Mm-hmm. And we're holding your hand through the whole process. One of our techs are, and the cool thing though is, you get to the exam room and there's a video screen there, mm-hmm. and you're having a real-time conversation with the eye doctor. Mm-hmm. They're looking at all your data. They're actually controlling the phoropter that's in front of your face from wherever they're sitting. Mm-hmm. So A, B, what's better? They're controlling it. Mm-hmm. And we had so many people walk out saying, that was the best eye exam I've ever had.
I was going to say, it sounds a lot more fun than the traditional eye exams.
They're like, this was fun.
Like you get the puffs or the drops or whatever.
No dilation. Yeah. You don't have to worry about that. It's like, people are just walking out, they're just like, wow, mm-hmm. There's nothing like it anywhere in our community. In the Mahoning or Shenango Valley, nothing like it.
Well, you mentioned too, as we were walking through, the sunglasses company.
Yeah. Ziva is, it's getting some national recognition right now. Mm-hmm. And so Ziva is a Hebrew name that means light of God. And it's also our dog's name. Mm-hmm. Okay. But Ziva, the purpose behind this company, it's their premium polarized mirrored sunglasses. Mm-hmm. with a really cool purpose, and that is deliver a solar-powered light mm-hmm. that lasts for 10 years to women who are living in darkness, who are living without electricity. And we do this through an organization called Watts of Love. We have an amazing relationship with them. They've been with us since we developed this brand, because we wanted to partner with them. And we didn't know 11 years ago when we named our dog Ziva, mm-hmm. that she would be the name of a sunglass brand, mm-hmm. because her name meant light of God. Mm-hmm. We're literally distributing light. Mm-hmm. They're super cool. One of the things that we're doing, we're actually having, we have 2 styles right now manufactured right in downtown Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And we have 3 more styles coming that are going to be manufactured right in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. We use a local lab here for a lot of our work, Central Optical. It's an up-and-coming brand that a lot of people are getting familiar with across this beautiful nation of ours right now.
So what's coming up? So the next 6 months to a year, what kind of projects are you excited about? Any kind of events or anything like that you can tell us about that you guys have on the horizon here?
We definitely want to do an open house for Sharon City Eyeworks. I don't know when that is going to be, so stay tuned. Follow us on socials. Just you can find us there under Eyes of Faith or Sharon City Eyeworks or Ziva. Definitely want to do an open house. Right now, our project is grow. Mm-hmm. We want to grow all 3 of these entities. We had one of our best year ever was last year, mm-hmm. but we're trending even better for this year. So just stay tuned. We always have something going on. I'm telling you, always something. Yeah.
Nice. What aspect for you personally and for your wife perhaps too, what aspect of Eyes of Faith is most important to you?
You know what? That's a great question. And I like to use this term is ROR, return on relationship. Mm-hmm. When I look back and, the 14 years now about Eyes of Faith, it's been a return on relationship. It hasn't been, and that means these beautiful relationships we have with ministry organizations that are delivering eyesight, relationships with Delilah, relationships with, our optical partners all across the country that are these little ministry points for us. And Eyes of Faith kind of creates this emotional connection with a brand. Mm-hmm. And we always joke, we're the only brand that will make somebody cry unless they're paying $2,000 for a pair of glasses. It's like we just create this emotional connection, and it's about relationships. And that's what I feel has been the most impactful. And yes, I love giving out glasses and doing that kind of thing. That's that's the purpose of the company. But I love to see different things happen because of what we started. So it's like whether it be a couple getting to know each other and then getting married, to somebody saying yes to, I want to learn more about Christianity, or I want to know more about what you do, whatever that is. It's all about a relationship.
Has there been any, and I'm sure there's probably been quite a few, this might be hard to narrow down, but has there ever been sort of an instance or, you mentioned, giving somebody a pair of glasses, or whatever. Is there any kind of one experience that sort of stands out for you guys, or that's like, that's sort of always kind of on your mind, or sort of, I guess, a go-to when you're thinking back on some really special moments? I'm sure you've had plenty.
I've had a lot, but I tell you one thing I just always go back to. I've been to Africa 3 times, and I'm actually going there in October, representing both Eyes of Faith and Ziva and Watts of Love. I'm going to be going on a trip. We're going to go and do a ribbon cutting at that vision clinic in Ghana. I'm sure we're going to have some cool moments there, right? But when I was in Africa one time, man, and we were so deep in the Kenya bush, I don't know where we were. I never did know where we were. But the guy thinks he was 70 years old. They don't really know when they're born. But he hadn't been able to see for most of his life. All right. We put a pair of glasses on him. Dude, he was screaming in Swahili that I can see the mountain. And the mountain was really big. They were like, just that moment is like, oh, this is why we do what we do. Yeah.
Nice. Well, Jim, I think we'll end on that. But thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you.
It was an absolute pleasure. And join us again next week. We'll see you, folks.
Thank you.